to go outside. What does that even mean, to go outside? My personality is always untamed. And so when you're outside, it's though you're indoors and your windows are always open. What is the outside now indoors? I mean, let's get real here. And it's with this stature, we've got to note we're so early in the history, and I'm just got to touch on more upon, like my last 3 videos was I was explaining, and not to be a revolutionary, that like you can have a business in your house. And I see it all the time. They're over there. It's like these new age tarot card readers, and they're like with the big signs saying, "Come on in, we'll read your palm." And so if you could do that same practice, but have it capitalize on these 3 factions, I'm going to shoot out real quick. I don't know the names of any of them, so we'll start with the most obvious, the LED strip. They've got all these like saddles where the electrons sit in. And so it's a thing where blue light on LEDs is really simple, really hard to get blue light. And that's so understandable because with lasers, they like burn all colors and then they don't burn blue. And it's just a property of light. So understanding that, how to capitalize off stuff. And the color purple, it's like this thing in biology where working with bacteria, they use purple to stain, to have like a grading system, because a large bulk of it is dependent on if purple can get stained or not. From figurines to monster movies, even in objects that are small or large, it comes to a stanza where the gluons inside of atoms, if they act like glue to align these decisions that are fantastic when it comes to uncertainties, the quantum options, that things can actually succumb to. An ocean and a seashell held over your ear can be just as the same as a beer bottle held over your ear. All this cavity, if it's a giant one, if you're utilizing it on a larger scale, you can go further from it. With a large potential of sound in it, you can still hear that there's an ocean there. So if you're blind, you would think it was by the ocean side. The phenomenon in this Doppler shift is utilized properly. I can talk about the potentials in quantum phenomenon, but it's the glue together that makes them align. As fun fact, gluons are in atoms and it coalesce a state of stableness to a system. If you get that to enact definite shapes, I don't know, I don't want to get mystical, but in it's exactly what they're doing. In the shapes of water, they're promoting the show where like you talk to it and you engage with water, and then it makes like pretty color or shapes or bad ones. That's all fine and dandy, but a step further would be to know how much bodies are physically like similar. Under the skin is like definite shapes no matter who you are. And in blood too. So if you cover like what blood disease is, you're gonna be able to excavate a lot of things that are dangerous. This is when monster movies come important, because they make sense if the dynamics are aligned right. Just like how this looks like roadkill. Oh shit. System UI not response. Wait. Just like how this looks like roadkill when it's distorted. And that's the whole thing with distortions. It's better without distortions, and that's the sign of uncertainty when you can do it without using effects. It's like, wow, there's something there. It's like, wow, there's something there. No, the aim, is it a black hole or a white door? And so then this whole thing with the off switch, you can construct one, or you can just have like this area all around you and it imitates the cast mold of the off switch. So then it could be any action taken is going to allude to the off switch being engaged. And I've got a great graph of what I've been working on, the outskirts, to define how that can occur. But it's all with like motion and action is always like these two quantum options. And so isn't the it's like filibusters almost when you give out dead air in order to waste time of a formal hearing. So as being informal and non-conventional, these things of like operating systems where it's on no one's time but yours when it comes to these factions, with you to understand them, building a system about them, and it's already there. It's the same with these white dwarf stars. They're always inside of every star at its core, and it's working from inside to out its outermost points if it's going to be a white dwarf heavy enough, or a black hole supernova heavy enough. And it's the same with the trade route I mentioned. It's all like, most of it's on these rail carts and they go onto trucks. That's one half, that's like the chain part, but the base of the chain is in these basins around the world where there's these areas that like most of the trade comes from. And if these areas are occupied, it's just as worse as a train cart derail if it's occupied wrong.